Now you listen here, Jimmy. The only way you're gonna save yourself from those nightmares is if you stay a virgin to those horror picture shows they're showing down at the theater. You stay away from those films, you hear? I don't know, Tom. I kinda like those movies. You know, they give me kind of a thrill you can't get from those hot rod ones you're always watching. I don't care about the nightmares. I love them.
All right, guys, and we are back. Another episode of Horror Movie Virgins. You got your host Daniel and the good girl
Kelsey.
So, for those who listen to the Bones and Hall episode, at the end there we were talking about like what movie should we do next, and I was like, I'm gonna show you one, and we're just gonna end up recording right away. And
This is our retribution.
yeah, because so listen to Bones and All before you listen to this one, and it'll all kind of fade in together, which is pretty good. But the movie we are going to be doing is one that I love. When it came out, my dad and I went to go watch it, just us two. And the whole time I was like sitting on the edge of my seat. You're just like, but the movie's Pandorum for you guys who don't know how to read and just click this episode, or it's just playing.
You know,
yeah,
we're on a loop.
Yeah, I had a friend who listens to the podcast, and they were like, "Oh my god!" Like had my podcast like playlist like going, and then yours came on, and they used to live out here, and so like we grew up together, and they were like, and they live in Tennessee now, and they were like, "Yeah," I was like, "What the fuck? That's Daniel's voice. Is he here visiting? Like, what the fuck?" And then they were like, then they heard that it was, it's his podcast. It would just cracked me up. But anyways, I forgot how we got to there.
Edge of your seat.
Oh yeah, edge of your seat. Blah blah blah. Pandorum. People that don't know how to read, you're just listening in on your podcast, and this came up. That's the movie we're talking about. But yes, Pandorum. When it came out, man, I was on the edge of my seat. Literally, like I would sit forward or lean forward, because the best way to explain this movie without ruining anything is the whole time they're running. Like the whole movie, they're being chased.
Oh,
like the entire movie. That's what it feels like, and it kind of plays. I don't know. You're not into video games at all, are you?
No, I'm not. I don't get good hand-eye coordination like
So you
that.
don't-
And if something starts chasing me,
So I'm
fucking out.
You never played the horror game Dead Space or anything?
No.
So this movie is a lot like Dead Space. It's the guy's an engineer, and they're on the ship, and you saw there's like no power and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, well, I can fix the ship. I just got to get to the engine. So the whole movie is this engineer trying to fix the ship, and in the movie or in the game Dead Space, you're an engineer trying to fix the ship or the space station while you're getting fucked up by these monsters. So in this, it's like the same thing, in the sense that he's trying to fix the ship, but trying to get from where they woke up to the engine room, and like they're being chased the whole time, and they're like every time they're able to talk, it's because like they get to a place where they can stop and catch their breath.
Interesting.
And then they're off to the next fiasco of being chased through the halls or chased through like some fucking weird part of the ship. Like, and it's rare. I think this movie is very good. I like it. I rewatch it all the time because I was like, that's how we talked about this the other day. You were like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm watching Pandorum. And then you were like, oh, or you were like, oh yeah, or no, I asked you if you've seen Pandorum. I had texted you and I was like, have you seen Pandorum? And you're like, no, why? I'm like, I'm watching it, and like I want to do an episode on this, and it was perfect because, like I said, I love this movie, and I hope you like it too. If you don't, I mean, it is what it is. But
no, I've passed by it a couple times, like on my own, and I've just never watched it.
Yeah.
But right when we watched the trailer, I knew what it was because I've literally passed by it a bunch just to watch it, just to, on like a random weekend.
Yeah.
But now I'm excited that we get to watch it.
Yeah.
And it'll make up for that fucking Layer movie.
Oh yeah, Layer. So at the time of this recording, we haven't finished recording Layer because that went too.
We both fell asleep.
Both fell asleep at different times of the movie, and like both weren't fans.
No.
We'll discuss that when we finally go back to record that. But that, and then Bones and All was this next movie we watched after that. Not same day, and then luckily this will be a little redemption. But yeah, this movie I liked a lot. I love the main character, actor,
the young guy that you were talking about.
Yes, Sam Foster, I think is what it said, or Forster.
Ben, one of those. It's obviously not Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, not Dennis Quaid.
That was surprising. Good. That's surprising. Dennis Quaid in a fucking alien movie,
and he does a great job too. Like I liked him a lot in this. You'll see. Like this movie. I can't give anything away, but it's you're gonna be like, what the fuck?
I'm excited to watch it.
So then, but yeah, the main character guy who plays Corporal Bauer, that actor is so fucking good, and he always plays a bad guy. Always, I feel every movie except for the mechanic, but even then, like, yeah, he wasn't really a bad guy in the mechanic, but in every movie I've seen him in, I can think about, he's always been like the villain or a villain in it, and he does such a good fucking job. I think he's a great actor. He's got great acting chops. And then when this movie came out, in at the time, still in my head, he was always the villain in movies. So when I
Mhm.
saw him in this, I was like, oh my god, him being the hero, this he did such a good fucking job.
I have to look at his face because the trailer's going too fast. I
Yeah.
can't
Have you
see
seen
him.
310 to Yuma?
Yeah.
So remember that dude that has like that western jacket,
Oh,
the main
okay.
dude who's leading the posse to
Mhm.
save
Mhm.
Russell's or whatever the fucking dude,
Yeah.
the main villain. That's him, and he was also, so seeing him in that, like, he did such a good job being that bad guy cowboy in that movie.
Mhm.
And then have you seen 30 Days a Night?
Yes, I love that
Okay,
movie.
so remember I got to talk to you about that one. I used to read the comics, and I
I
got to tell you,
love that
the
movie.
comic was blew the movie out of the water.
Oh,
The movie butchered the fucking comic.
damn it.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that after this. Unless, and then maybe one day I'll find somebody who hasn't seen the movie,
Mhm. We
but
should.
we should. I have a third mic now with this new thing. So I haven't posted any episodes at the time of this recording with this new sound system. So if it sucks, I'm sorry. That's going to be
Mhm.
3 or 4 episodes with
Of us.
this on the on while I'm recording on the headset, and when I play it back, it sounds fine. But I don't know how it's going to sound when I transfer everything over. So
We'll see.
yeah, hopefully it's good. If it's not, we're gonna have like 4 episodes where it's gonna sound like shit. But
It's fine.
it is what
That's show business.
this showbiz, baby. And even then, like, this is a hobby. This isn't like professional fucking podcast. This is my hobby.
True.
Doesn't even I don't get any money while doing this. This is just
Not yet.
well, even then I'm not planning on that. This is just for fun.
Mm.
But if we get there, we get there. I'd be humble. I'd be humble if we get paid. Somebody pays us to go see movies or buys the movies for
That would
us.
be
That would be
incredible.
yeah. I don't need to quit my job to do this. I would just, if somebody's like, hey, what's your Amazon or whatever, I'm gonna send you this movie. I want you guys to do an episode on it. I'll
It'd
be
be
like,
still really cool.
yeah, I would love that, because I'm like, okay, cool. I'm getting a horror movie I haven't seen, or if I have, like, if somebody's like, hey, like on Instagram, hey, can you do this movie? If I have it, I'll be like, I'll find somebody. If I don't, fucking gift it to me, man. That I don't need to make a buck, but I can, I can shout you. I'll be shouting you out and be like, yo, so and so told, like when I did Black Phone, my friend Nick was the one that was telling me, and I said, yo, my friend Nick from Montana was like, yo, watch this movie, and I was like, all right, cool.
That
So
reminds me, I need to show you a movie after this.
yeah, you talked about it the other day too, I think.
There's another one I need to show you.
All right, but you didn't actually show me. You were like,
What was the other one I was going to show you?
I don't fucking remember.
Oh fuck, I don't remember. But this one, I thought about it the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, I don't know why I can't keep bringing this up.
Yeah.
But right now, when you said that, I just remembered. So
All right, right on.
I need to show you.
But yeah. Anyway, so if the sound sucks, we're sorry. But it is what it is. Just enjoy, guys. Just enjoy. Yeah, this movie Pandorum is fucking good. Yeah. So back to 30 Days a Night.
Yeah.
He plays the guy who was in the jail cell who came to the town first to disrupt the town.
Oh, okay.
That's the same actor.
Okay.
And that's what's crazy. You see him in that. You see him in 310 to Yuma, and they're totally like different. Like, you don't even really recognize him. And then you see him in this play a hero, and like he's an engineer, and it's like not an air. They're not like in the military, but it's like they're in charge of a
It's
ship.
still like
Military.
yeah,
What's it called? Fuck. It's called something. I forgot what it's called though. But it's like where they still have like discipline and shit. And he does a good job of portraying that. Like when you see like Dennis Quaid, his character wakes up too. He's very like, yes sir, no sir, like to him, because he's the high ranking officer with them. And then like his first interaction, Norman Reedus, that's who's in this movie too.
Oh, there you go.
He runs into Norman Reedus like first, I think, and he's like, or no, like second, but he's the first one who he really like talks to, and he had just woken up, and Norman Reedus is like, you just woke up? He's like, well, fuck you, you don't know shit. I'm getting the fuck. And then he's like, he gets all professional, like, there's still a commanding CO on this ship. He's like, fuck you. He's like, there's no fucking CO on this ship. Like, he's like, because he's like, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You just woke up. Like,
we're stuck here.
Yeah, like, so that's kind of cool too. You see him at the beginning of this movie, a very good character progression where, like, so one of my biggest, I'll get to that in a second. But okay, so very good progression where you see him very disciplined, and that characteristic carries out through the movie in a way that his character doesn't change too much from how he originally is,
Mhm.
but he does change in parts that help show the stress of a human going through what they're going through,
Mhm.
which is something really cool. Which movies nowadays suck, man. Like have you seen the movie Deep Water or whatever, where they're like in this underwater thing? It's got the girl from Twilight and like
Oh, fuck! I don't know what it's called, but yeah, Kristen Stewart. She's like stuck in it's not a spaceship because obviously
it's
it's under fucking
underwater,
water,
right?
but she's stuck there.
Yeah, and then there's like these alien things.
Yes.
So that movie, um, the best way I can explain it is like, so you've seen the original Alien, obviously. We talked
Yes.
about. So at the original Alien, you have character building where it's showing how these characters act together, and then they get that SOS,
Mm-hmm.
and even then you see who's like, no, fuck that, let's go home, and they're like, oh, but you guys are gonna get paid this amount of money because we're like the salvage responding, and then they're
Mhm.
like, oh, then fuck it, yeah, let's go. Like you're seeing the way these characters you see an
The way
alien,
they're interacting with each other.
right, and then that way you already know when the alien gets on the ship and they have to react. You
Mhm.
see you already know everybody's underlying character, who they are as a person, as a
Mhm.
human. So when this happens, you start to see them react the way their character would react to this
Mhm.
to this thing. That deep water, or whatever that. But the movie starts where there's chaos, so you don't know if Christian Stewart's or whatever her name is character is going to act that way because
Right.
we don't know. We have no character
Progression.
so we don't know. All the characters in that movie are just thrown in this situation where you just saw your best friends die, or you know that people are dead, and you know you're
Right.
the only one alive, and you know you're gonna die unless you get out of there. So
They're doing it for something.
they're doing it for something, but we don't know if that's how they react. So in
Mhm.
this one, you see him and you see Dennis Quaid's character. A lot of the other characters, you see them like have to go out of their norms because you get that character progression of like this is who they are as officers of like this fucking like military space station thing,
Mhm.
and then you see them start realizing they're in a different scenario than what they're used to, and they have to react in ways that are out of character for them
Mhm.
to survive, and you see that progression and you see the way it affects them. And even the characters that have been awake for a while in this
Mhm.
movie, like you see the way like the first person he comes and interact with him, she tries to like steal his shoes. She's like, give me your boots. Well, that ends up being one of the people that he runs with throughout the movie.
Mhm.
And you see her from being this person who's gonna rob him of his stuff because she's like, I need to survive, to being someone who's helping him try to save the ship.
Hmm.
And like you see her character change a little bit. I don't, without ruining stuff. You see her, and then you see the other people that he comes in contact with as they're making their way through the ship, like the way they change, and that's cool too. It's better than what a lot of movies do nowadays, where they just like they throw the situation at these characters, but there's no preliminary expectations of these characters and of their character as a person.
Which is strange. You just want them to get through the movie, but it's like this is why I'm watching the movie because I want to see these people progress.
Yes, exactly. Like what we were
I'm
saying in
making up the
Bones and
story, and
All.
yeah.
Like in Bones and All. Like
I
again,
mean, they
if
gave
you
a little bit, a tiny bit.
yeah, but then even then, the way the characters acted in that, or especially her, mainly her, was out of character from what we were told about her, but without any progression. And then at
Mhm.
the end of the movie, if you guys listen to that episode, I was very much like, we don't know where she's gonna go now because we don't have any progression of what she was doing with her life.
It wasn't even open ended. It was blown completely wide open.
Right,
You don't know
exactly.
you don't
You
know
have
a single thing.
anything. Like we had to look it up. I don't want to bring it up on this one because this is a different movie,
But
but
we did look it up
we looked it up and I was like, what? I didn't get that from that movie
at all.
I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, but I'm like, no, they didn't portray that at all. And the book ending sounded better than because it was a book. We found out the book ending
Mhm.
sounded better than the fucking
It
movie.
does.
Yeah, but yeah, so like that's a big gripe I have with Hollywood now is there's no character build. Even in the Alien Covenant, did you see that one?
I did.
So when they would kill characters in that, you don't feel anything for them. You're like,
No.
who even was that?
Yeah.
Like for half of them, for at least half of those people, when they would die, because they were all couples too.
Yeah.
Someone would die, and you're like, wait, so who was that to who? Like whose husband was that, or
Mhm.
whose wife was that? Like they just die, and then there's not really any. The only person is Danny McBride's character and the main girl.
Yes.
Those are and the Mexican dude. But even then, um, that wasn't really explained either. Like his husband, he was gay, and his husband is one of
Mhm.
the one who loses the bottom of his jaw,
Mm-hmm.
and like he's like crying over his body, and it's like, but even then, because there was no character building in that movie, we don't, unless you pay to go back and really pay attention
Yeah.
about these characters. And then before the movie came out, they were releasing like little tapes, like the cast like did these little tapes kind of thing, and it was like lazy writing, like this is your character building. That's how I knew that was that dude's husband. So when he died, like a lot of people that I knew
They
didn't
don't even make
know.
the connection in the movie.
No, they don't make the connection in the movie. You
That's
have to
stupid.
know, and then again, like we were saying, Danny McBride and then the girl who lost her husband at the beginning of the movie. Those are the only two people that we see any real reaction when their significant other dies. And then yeah, and then
Well,
the
I mean, they probably do that too because it's Danny McBride,
yeah,
and people are gonna remember that.
yeah. But even then, like if in a movie where you're having characters die,
Yeah.
like you want to feel something for these. You need to feel something for these characters to make the movie emotional, or because you start to want to see these characters live.
Yeah.
You want to see them make it.
At least halfway.
Yeah, you want like oh man, Rob Zombie did one called 31.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see
I
that?
have not.
So that was good because like characters die throughout it, but he does a good job because he gets it as somebody you want to see these guys make. You want to see the good guy make it. That's how you make a movie that's suspenseful, because if you care for the character, you don't want to see the character die.
Mm-hmm.
So when a character you care about dies, you're like, oh fuck, man, I wanted to see them make it.
Yeah.
That's in my
And then
opinion.
it's more impactful if they do die.
Yes.
Because you're like, shit, I rooted for this guy this entire time.
Yes.
And he doesn't fucking make it right at the last moment. You know he could.
Yes. You've seen Cabin in the Woods, right?
Yes.
Okay, that did
Love that movie.
did a great job too, where you're rooting for them
Mm-hmm.
because you feel for them. You want to see them make it, and
Yeah.
then they make it. They're like, at least
I mean,
the people I was rooting for in that
Yes.
movie, they make it, and you're like, but that was in a sense.
I mean, they set it up really well in that movie.
Yes.
When they start explaining to them why they picked each person.
Right.
And you obviously think that the two characters, the stoner and the virgin,
Mm-hmm.
that they're gonna get killed real quick.
Right.
And they end up being the smartest ones out of all of them.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so like what I'm beating this dead horse about is nowadays we don't get that a lot in horror.
No.
There's a big gripe I have. I mean, so did you see the Texas Chainsaw that went to Hulu? I mean Netflix, right to Netflix?
I did, but I also had COVID, so I don't remember much.
In that one, I remember when it came out, and I wanted to do an episode, and I went, and I met up with my friend, and we were doing the Hot Ones challenge, like me and a bunch of OR staff together were doing the Hot Ones challenge, and we were at my buddy's Pat, and we're doing it, and him and his wife love horror, so we were talking about it. And I'm like, oh man, I loved it, man. The kills were cool, blah blah blah. And she starts shitting on the movie. She's like, talking about how, like, she's like, you don't the same thing that's my gripe. She's like, you don't feel anything for these fucking characters when they die and
They
stuff.
just kill them off real quick.
Right. And in the movie, I was like, yeah, but I wanted to see these fucking, because all those kids in that movie are like my least fucking favorite kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like right away, like they're in Texas. Like I don't want to get too political. They're in fucking Texas, and the guy's open carrying at a gas station in a rural ass area,
Middle of fucking
nowhere, and she starts like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that. You're carrying it. Like, starts talking. I'm like, dude, one, you're in fucking Texas. Don't go there and fucking start changing laws and shit. Like, those people live there the way they want to live, and like the fact that she approached. So I'm like, right away, I'm like, man, I fucking hope she gets it. Like, I was so mad. And then all her friends too are just like total scumbaggy. Like, yeah, we bought this town and we're gonna sell it to all our lib friends, and it's gonna be like a commune. I'm like, oh my god, I hope they all fucking get it.
I think a lot of it is that they want to pump out these horror movies all at once, so they don't have continuity.
Right. Well, then back to my point. I keep being squirreling hard about it, but like in that movie, and I notice it's nowadays. Sorry if you guys keep hearing my chair too. I keep rocking in it. Or pressing the leather. It sounds like farts and shit. Anyways, back to this. Nowadays, horror movies, they make these movies, and instead of you wanting to see them make it, they make it so you want to see certain characters die.
Yeah.
They'll have like a dude who's being an asshole, and you're like, man, I can't wait for him to get his comeuppance.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, yes, in horror movies, you have that guy. But in horror movies now, they go to a bar, like the main characters go to the bar, and then they run into some dude that they grew up with, who was they're like, oh, he was always an asshole. And he's an asshole to them in the bar, and then when he goes outside to take a piss, he gets off.
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, well, there was no build. You like back in the day,
Like, why did you do that for?
yeah, back in the day, or even in a good movie, you make the asshole stick around for a bit
At least a little while.
for you to dislike him.
Because he's going to have that character moment where it was like, okay, I'm going to help you.
yeah,
And then at the last moment when we're all about to die, I'm going to say, fuck you guys. And I'm going to leave. And then I get off.
and then I get off. Or even then, you see characters who don't deserve to get get their come up. They don't deserve to get came up on and fucking killed.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the asshole make it, and you're like, man, fuck, that guy needs to get his comeuppance.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does, and you're like, all right, cool. Nowadays, you don't have that. They just get their
No.
comeuppance right away, and you're like, okay, you just killed a character, and I don't feel anything for this character.
I think they just don't want continuity. That's the thing.
Yeah.
People
that
like
makes
what they
sense.
like, which is like people dying, which is not true because people that truly enjoy horror movies,
Yeah.
they want what we're talking about. They don't
Right.
want you to just to fucking kill them because they thought it was cool.
Yeah, I want to see a character try to survive, and like again, you see pre-character building before the acts of violence. So then you like the Friday the 13th that came out back in like 2012,
Mm-hmm.
that did a good job of showing these college kids. Like you got the Asian dude who's kind of like the stoner, and like
Yeah.
the one who's just like all like, you know, I liked his character a lot. Just like I don't give a fuck. I'm here to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
You got the jock who's got like the cheerleader girlfriend. They're like, fuck it, we're gonna go fucking take your boat and go for a spin, and they're having their good time. And you got the main girl who's all nice and shit, and then her boyfriend who's a total asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he, movies like that, like they kept that building, and then like that character building. So then when Jason starts fucking shit up, you start to see these characters deal with it as their character, not just boom, here's a scenario and here's some people, and then we see them acting in the scenario, but we don't have anything to go off of.
We don't feel anything for them.
Yes, and in this movie, it does a good job at showing like the kind of person they are, up to and even throughout. Like you get it quick, and then you get like a little bit of what's going on, and he still acts like that. Like, yo, I'm an engineer, I'm an officer, I'm in charge, kind of thing. And then he's like figuring things out. Like, oh shit, this isn't what we don't know what's going on. Blah blah blah. So this movie does a good job at that, and I really really like this movie, and I hope you do too.
I'm excited.
You ready to go watch it?
Retribution.
We've been talking for a long time.
I know, this is a long one.
This is a long intro, but I scrolled hard. I hope I didn't ruin anything from other movies for people, but
that's why they're here.
Yeah, that's why you're here. So whatever. All right, have fun, guys. We will be right back. What up? We are back. Did you like that?
Yeah, it's good.
Alrighty. I think I broke her.
You can't do that to me. I had too many drinks for that shit.
Alrighty, guys. Anyways, so Kelsey, what?
I can't stop. Okay.
What did you think? What did you think of Pandorum?
I love that shit.
Was
so good.
It was good, right?
That was really good. It had me all the way to the end.
All the way. Because what I liked when I first saw it too, I remember when you were watching, you're like, so is he crazy? You kept asking.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you'll see. And then at the end too, like it really does a good job at making you think, oh, he is crazy. And he's been imagining this whole fucking thing.
Meaning Bauer.
Right, Bauer.
Right.
Bauer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then at the end, when that one monster's coming through, he's like, do you see that? And like clarifying.
You had to clarify that to me because I still was kind of like, what the hell's going on?
Right. And I like that they did that because it was good for us as viewers. Because even I was like, I don't mind movies that make you think and make you wonder. But like how we were talking about the last one we just watched, fucking Bones and All, we're both like, what the fuck was that?
That was so confusing.
Yes, and it wasn't even like good confusing. Like I like good confusing, but like something that was just like what? Where versus this, like you're like, ooh, like so is he crazy? Is he not? Like we don't know. And then for them to confirm it for us was fucking dope.
I mean, they kind of got me all the way up into the end because he was in the
cockpit.
You know that part of the ship?
Yeah.
And he was still like having like some weird ass hallucinations.
Yeah.
Seeing shit that wasn't there. I was like, oh no, he's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That he totally imagined all this shit and he's just been running around in circles in this ship with these people. But then it just didn't really make sense because then he'd have to make up everybody that he's met.
and everybody's death.
Yes.
And the other thing too, I like when we talked about character building in the first half, like Heavy talked about
Mhm.
it. This none of the characters that are like that you like get attached to or they really dive into die until towards the end.
Right. Which is I like that.
Right.
That was good.
Even the dude who was like torturing them to eat him, they did good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you want to see him get his comeuppance kind of thing, and like
His was unexpected. I didn't expect him to just right in the eye.
yeah. So that was good. That was good writing. You know what I mean? Like in my opinion,
I kind of was hoping that the agriculture guy
was gonna make it.
survive. Yeah, because he got so far.
Right,
He
and
got so far.
and he was doing it from the beginning. He was trying to help him.
Yeah.
He wasn't like the girl who tried to rob him in the beginning, and then came up on him that second time when the agriculture guy stepped in. It was like no, like he saved him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was saying in the whole first half is like you build relationships with these characters.
Mhm.
You want to see them make it, and when they don't, you're like, oh, what the
Shit.
fuck, man. And what I loved too, I remember I talked about it when we were watching it, was they didn't have subtitles for him. So
Right. So you have no idea what he's saying.
Yes, the whole movie. I don't even know what language he was speaking.
I couldn't tell you.
Me neither. And the whole movie, he's speaking this language, and unless you speak it, you have we don't know
No
what
idea what
he's
he's
saying. And it's funny because none of the characters do either. And especially my favorites, like when how Bauer would reply to him, like I remember one part when they're walking, when they first meet up, and they leave the girl in that place with all those home shelters,
Oh yeah.
and they're like leaving, and he's like talking in his native tongue, and he's like, "Yeah, well, you're not gonna get any sympathy from me." And that made me chuckle. It's like, dude, he has no idea what the fuck he's saying. He's just like,
He's just going with it.
yeah, he's just going with it.
Bauer just eventually accepted it. And was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah,
Obviously, you can understand what I'm saying.
yeah. Because but yeah, I liked. And then was I not wrong that the whole movie is just them being chased?
Yes, literally from like the first maybe 20 minutes to the end.
You're
just running.
They're just running
whole
through
time.
the ship trying to get away. They're
The whole
like
time.
sneaking. They're like, we need to be quiet. This is their main hunting area. And they're like,
For a long time, I thought he made up Dennis Quaid's character in his head because I thought he was fucking crazy. I thought he was like imagining that.
oh yeah, that he was talking to
Yes.
Dennis Quaid's character.
Yeah, especially towards the end when he's like, "That's not my lieutenant." I was like, "He's crazy. He's fucking crazy. It's in his head.
Yeah.
He made it up."
Did that come that whole thing with Peyton or like the
Yeah. Well, then eventually it made sense when he said, "That's not my lieutenant," and then he said that all of his memory came back to him.
he's like, I remember everything now. Yeah.
That you really aren't.
Right.
You're this other person.
Yeah, that threw me off when I saw that when he like goes to inject the kid and
It
then
merges together, and both their numbers are the
I
same.
was like, ooh, I was like, that's cool.
But then I thought, okay, Dennis Quaid made him up in his head.
Mm-hmm.
He's crazy too. So
Yeah.
he made it up like he's been talking to himself this entire time, which really he has been.
Right.
He's been talking to himself, thinking that,
Yeah.
he's going to save everybody. Were they going to blow up if they didn't turn that reactor back on?
No, the ship was all power was gonna just shut off for good. So all life, because they thought they were in space still too.
Yeah.
So all life support, all power everything was gonna turn off, and they were just gonna be stuck in darkness.
Meaning like the pods and stuff would die.
yes,
The people inside the pods would die.
yes, everyone would
Okay.
just die.
I thought that like it was going to be something like more catastrophic. Like they were going to.
No, I think getting dead that way, like running out of power and just dying in the dark,
That'd be
especially
scary.
with those monsters running around.
Uh-huh.
And it's just dark. There's no more oxygen being cycled through.
That's true.
There's no life support. Just dying in the dark like that would be worse than they just blowing up. I'd rather get blown up than die in the dark like that.
I do like how the guy that was going to eat them was explaining how all those creatures
Mm-hmm.
got stuck in there.
Because even the girl earlier, when he asked her like, "Oh, what are they?" and she's like, "I've never stuck around to find out." And then she gives her views, like she explains, like this movie did a good job of explaining it for dummies.
Mhm.
But also without being like, this is what it is. Because she says, I think what it is we were given an enzyme that will speed up evolution for when we get to TARDIS or whatever the planet was, so that we can adapt to the new planet. And she's like, I think they're us that adapted to the ship instead. And then, like you said, that guy explained everything from like the beginning of why their ship
Mhm.
is the way it is and what those creatures are. That it's people that Peyton brought out of sleep and then just left in the ship while he went back to sleep.
Yeah.
And he just left them out there, and that's how they came to be. Those aliens came to be.
They just evolved.
They evolved to live on the ship.
Which is crazy. They look crazy.
Yeah.
That's some good alien makeup.
Yeah, because
I'm
they
not gonna
don't
lie.
look human, but they look humanoid.
Enough.
Yeah, enough. And then when you find out, like that part when he's crawling, there's like a couple of them that look human-ish.
Ish. And they go super fast too. The way they
Yeah.
like climb after you, I don't like that shit. First of all,
No.
I don't like shit
They're
climbing
like
at
climbing
me.
on the
I
back.
don't like on all fours
Yeah.
like climbing at you. That scares the shit out of me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they're scary fast.
Oh yeah, but that was what was like good because they're adapted to the ship, so
Mhm.
they're able.
They know where they're going.
Right, yeah, and they know how to move through the ship. That's why they're able to like crawl on the ceiling and all that fucking crazy shit.
It's creepy.
They're creepy, but it was good. It was like I saw it in theaters, so I told you like when he runs into Norman Reedus's character.
I
like,
thought he was gonna have a longer part than that. I
No.
didn't expect it to be like
I-
literally 3 minutes.
Yeah, I
You
like.
made it seem like it was like the rest of the fucking movie, and I was like, oh okay. And then they fucking captured him. I was like, that was it?
Yeah, but I do
fuck?
like the people they did kill. It was like they were just like plot fillers kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
even Norman Reedus's character.
He still explained a lot of what was going on.
Right. Even with him saying that I have no idea what's going on, but he shared enough. Like they're fast, they're strong, and you need to run is the only way to survive them. That was the basis of the movie. So
Mhm.
Norman Reedus' character drops that knowledge, then they run, and then he gets killed.
Mhm.
But then two, when they were in the place where all the other people are sleeping and they're running through and they're being chased, that one random one wakes up and then gets eaten.
Yeah.
Like all the people that died like was enough to show you carnage, to make it like a scary movie, like to
Mhm.
show you these monsters will fuck you up and eat you. And it was enough that it wasn't just like just showing you this. It made the movie move. It
Right.
kept the motion of the movie going forward. Because another like the other thing is like with that scene was how else are they going to get away other than they get distracted by a meal, right?
Yeah.
And that helped move the plot. Like, because yeah, it showed them like actually kill one, and then showed like them. It took 3 of them to fight one to death with swords and shit. So it showed like how hard they are to kill, and that they can't. Because some people like if you watch the movie, you're like, why don't you just? There's enough. You guys just turn around and fight. It just showed you that 3 of them can't even struggle to kill one.
Right.
So that that was part of the plot, and then them getting chased. You're like, okay, well now how are they gonna get out of this? They're being chased. Well, they're gonna get a meal like that.
I do like how they explained too that they're all waiting there for those pods to open once the power like surge comes.
Yeah.
Because then the pods open and then they just eat them.
Yeah, right out of the gate.
Mhm.
Dude, could you imagine? Like, that's crazy. You just wake up and because like you have no memory, and then you just
Fucking
like,
8 years later, you just getting your fucking guts torn out the minute you wake up from this fucking hypersleep. Like, what the fuck is
yeah.
happening?
Well, and then like at the end when it says like 1,200 people were still asleep and stuff. Could you imagine like waking up like and then they explain to you what happened on the ship, like them because
Hey, I know you're in the ocean right now,
yeah,
but this is what happened.
yeah, this is what we had to deal with to get you here.
Yeah,
so
you're welcome.
you're welcome. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Dude, it's because it's I don't know. I mean, it ended good, but like
I liked it.
I liked the ending.
I did too. Still wish the agricultural guy that
Me too, man. He was so
Damn.
fucking cool.
he got fucked up by that little kid.
That baby, and it's funny because he wanted to kill the kid.
Yeah,
Right away.
She was like, "No, stop! It's a child."
It's a child, and then when he went to go kill it, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's a child," and then the fucking child cuts his throat and eats him. Like it's crazy, but it's good. Fucking, I love this movie. I've rewatched it a ton of times. I remember the first time I saw it when they opened the windows and it's all black.
I was waiting for that.
I was like, oh my god, they've been in the ship so long they went past the furthest star.
Or I thought they were like they're in a fucking wormhole, or like they landed somewhere and now they can't, like, I don't know, like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, because when she's like, where are all the stars? I was like, oh my god, like that blew my mind. I was like, ooh, that just made this movie so fucked up that they've just been traveling through space for so long.
And they just passed it.
They passed the furthest fucking star. Like that is far as fuck. So I was like, I thought that was gonna happen, and then they find out that they're underwater, and I was like, oh man, that's such a good like fucking.
That was good.
That was good.
That was
I liked
good.
That.
I really thought they were like in a fucking wormhole, no stars, no nothing. They were
Yeah.
just gonna die anyway.
Yes, exactly. That's why I love that. And then to find out that they were in the water the whole time, I'm like, man, that means they could have evacuated the ship from the fucking
A long time ago.
from the beginning of the movie, and no
one would have.
yeah, none of those characters would have died.
I guess his whole thing was like he thought that everybody was. It's the same thing where they were explaining the Pandorum, how he thought everything was cursed,
Right.
which is why he kept them all in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. I like this movie a lot.
I liked it a lot.
And like I said, like the fact that they're being chased, you're kind of like on the edge of your seat, like go, like
yeah, keep going,
keep going. You're like
because they keep going.
yeah, that's the thing. They just keep going. Those fucking monsters just keep coming.
I also like how she was totally just kicking the shit out of everything. the
Yeah.
first like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you figure out where she lives. You're like, damn, girl.
Yeah, she's just
It's so nice in here.
It is.
And why are you so upset?
Why is she so dirty?
Seriously.
Everything in her area is
all
like white.
Fucking scientist. She's like, don't touch that.
Yeah,
And
she's
you're like,
all
oh,
fucking
okay.
clean, and her hair is so dirty when she like moves it. It just stays.
It just stays.
because it's like
And then when they dropped to the floor, was that shit water that they were in?
yeah, that was like
Okay.
shit and piss, and then
Okay.
remnants of the people that they've been eating.
Disgusting. And she was just nose deep in that shit.
I would have vomited.
That would have been disgusting.
I would have been like, well, they're not gonna want to eat me now because I sure shit wouldn't.
Right. And then, Norman Reedus' character, he's putting all the grease on him so they
Mhm.
can't smell him. You think they wouldn't be able to smell him because they're in the fucking shit water?
Yeah. Well, they didn't, and this when he came out that they randomly saw one.
Yeah.
That one was just chilling there because that's where they hunt. But like that was one thing. My only complaint is Norman Reedus brings up like, oh, like you don't want him to smell you,
Uh-huh.
but that never gets brought up. Like them being covered in shit and stuff.
It's kind of passed over.
Just
I mean,
passed
maybe he
over.
thought because the whole predator versus prey thing, like if they can't smell me, they can't see me.
Mm-hmm.
But it never said anything about them being like fucking blind
No, not at all. That's
or
why
like they can't find anybody in the dark.
Yeah, it could have just been just like a throwaway thing where it's like Norman Reedus' character thinks that this
This
is gonna
is
work,
what's gonna work.
and it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I never really dug into it more than it just never gets brought up again. Maybe towards the end when he falls down, but even then he falls down there and none of them get jarred awake, so like they don't smell him.
Oh, towards the end?
Yeah, and then
when he like
wraps
slips
himself
down
up.
there and
Yeah.
just wraps himself in that nasty ass, like I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know either if it was clothes.
It looked like the clothes they wear, but it was covered in all that. Also, when they're in that like with the guy that was gonna eat them, he kept touching the walls and the like green shit everywhere.
Yeah.
They never said what that was.
Well, I don't know if you saw when they start like getting like tired. What it is the thing is like he's like spitting out gas to make them fall asleep.
Oh.
So that's why that layer of crap was there because it's from like it's showing that whatever's like spitting out to make them fall asleep doesn't go above that level to get him up there.
Because he touches it again.
Yeah.
When they're like all running out underneath, he does it again where he like touches it.
Oh, that part was they're figuring out like that they're close to where the other monster where all the monsters are.
Okay, got it.
Kind of like how
Got it.
Alien, like they like feel the
Yeah.
aliens alien from like the xenomorphs. They leave like a goo from their drool and shit. Goo. I was gonna say something worse.
What were you gonna say?
Nothing. Oh man,
Thank God you didn't. This is a family show, God damn it.
yeah, motherfucker. But yeah, I love this movie, and and it's not, in my opinion, it's not original idea,
No,
but it's so good, and it did such a great job. I think
I really liked it.
I did too.
I really liked it. You know what's funny? I feel like the cover on the outside of the movie doesn't really portray what's going on the inside of the movie.
No, not at all.
Like at all. It doesn't give it away.
Mm-mm.
Like at all.
No, and
Which I
that's
thought
rare.
was really good.
Yeah, because if you're just skimming through movies and you see Pandorum, it's just a dude's arm with hoses coming out of it.
Yeah.
And
Which
that,
doesn't allude to anything in the movie except for them being in the pod.
Yeah, except for them being in the pod. That's it. And then but yeah, did a good job. And then
I liked it.
I loved it was a mix of like a creature feature. They're being chased by these aliens, and they're also hallucinating and being crazy.
Yes. But it seemed like only Dennis Quaid's character and Bauer were the only two that were like hallucinating because the girl seemed pretty.
Yeah, she was normal.
She was normal. So was the agricultural guy.
And even Norman Reedus' character.
Yeah, normal.
Yeah. But I think what it was is because they just woke up. But even then, like you're saying,
true.
They were the only two that were going through hallucinations.
I mean, they did a really good job because I did think like halfway through, like, okay, this fool's crazy.
Yeah,
He's
because you kept asking me. I'm like, you're gonna find out. Stop asking.
I was like, he made up the girl, he made up the guy. He's been doing this shit all by himself, and he's just been going through here.
Yep.
And then I was like, okay, so now there's no aliens.
Yeah.
And he just shot a hole in the fucking ship.
Yeah.
For no reason, but then she
Mhm.
validates
That he sees
his
it.
concern. Yeah.
Because when I first saw it too, that scene, I was like, wait, so are there not aliens at all? This whole movie? But then that's why I was like, so why does everyone else hallucinate then?
Right.
But then I like my thought was when I thought that too, I'm like, oh, like, wait, she doesn't like. There's no aliens. I thought maybe it was other like just normal ass people that they're fighting because like remember how they fought?
It's like like they're
he's hallucinating,
trying to survive.
Yeah, he's hallucinating other people to be these aliens when it's just normal dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But then that was what I thought when I first saw it. I'm like, well, what the fuck? But then they validate, like you said,
Yeah.
she validates his
She validates his like
concern.
Yeah. Saying, "You see that?"
Yeah,
And she's like, "Don't fucking worry about that right now. We're
yeah,
gonna
he's
die."
like, fuck them or fuck him or something. I forgot what she says. But yeah, she's like, nah, like don't fucking sweat it. But yeah, like, yeah, I don't
I
know.
wouldn't say it was a happy ending, but it's definitely a good ending
Yeah,
because they ended up on that planet.
they ended up where they needed to be. Obviously, like there's a lot to unravel for them in the future, but nothing that pertains to the movie.
I also love like almost 60% of the ship was outside of the ocean,
Yeah,
and so much of it was underneath the water.
yeah. The whole bottom half where he was working,
The
doing his work.
whole thing.
Yeah.
And at first I thought, oh, only them are gonna be the ones that pop up, and then you realize that once you hit that button, all of them come
Well,
up.
what happened was
That's left.
It said
That's like
still in the pods.
Yeah.
It said hull breach, emergency evacuation.
Uh-huh.
So it was, but like you said, like at first I thought it was just gonna be them two.
And I was like, damn, just them two.
Like, and how are they gonna get down with just them two? Like, how are they gonna get down?
Do
and get everybody
anything.
out? Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Like, I mean, not to dig into what the future of those characters any further, because, like I said, for the movie, the purpose, the ending, fit the purpose of the movie.
Uh-huh.
Like they made it, they're alive, they made it to the planet. Everybody that's still human came out, and they're alive. But like I always, I'm always like, okay, well, what about all the stuff they brought? Like, everyone that came out just has no clothes,
No clothes.
except for them two.
That's it. No clothes. Nothing.
How are they gonna get to the shore? And then how are they?
They're gonna have to stay in their little pods and figure out how to swim towards the shore.
Yeah,
because they're far away from that ocean that they show you, or the islands that they show you.
Yeah. What if it's desolate?
What if there's like fucking worse alien creatures on there?
Yeah.
Some
See,
planet
like,
in the middle of the fucking universe. You have no idea what's going on in there.
That's the thing I'll say. Like, it's hard to not want to dig into more, but like, for the purpose of the movie, the ending was fine.
It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
But like, as someone like us, where we're like, wait, like,
What's
what?
gonna happen next?
Yeah, I care about these characters. What the fuck? But the way it ended so optimistic and happy, like, we just assume that they're now gonna live there.
Of course.
Even though everything is on the ship underwater that they need, like the food, the housing pods. Like,
that's true.
Everything they need is going to be on the ship underwater.
Also,
and would you want to go back and go get it knowing those aliens are on there?
How the fuck are we gonna get down there anyway?
Yeah. Well, I mean the ones
unless
that are,
you can like
the parts that are above
the ground, you can go down, but that would still be.
And I don't even know how you get back in. I mean, there's got to be like some exit, like hatch or something.
I also there's not that. I mean, there is of course a lot of those aliens, but there's not at the same time. Like
right.
You don't even know how much he's let open.
Right. Because they said a population before, but we don't know how much of that is mutated.
Right.
And it did say that so this is the only thing. They did say that the ship said that they've been out they've been out for 920 something years.
It was like 923, I think it said.
Something like that. And oh my god, we just said his name. What's the fucking
Dennis Quaid?
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
His character was young, and he was in the second group, Flight Team 2, which means when they found out they were only 4 years in. So that means that the first 4 years were going good. So from 4 years, if he started at 4 years, that means 100 at least 915 years there were people on that ship living.
It's true.
The aliens and shit. So it could be a good amount, and it could be just because of evolution. Like they're saying, the evolutional enzyme. People were because they had kids.
They were breeding.
They were breeding and creating more of these alien things on the ship. So we still don't, even with the population difference, we don't know how many there are because they had 900 years of breeding and living on a ship of these monsters doing this.
And of course, Dennis Quaid isn't that old because he's
sleeping.
Yes,
he's going to sleep and shit.
He's putting himself in that pod then.
Right. Yes.
And going to sleep.
Mm-hmm. And then forgetting because of the whole thing,
like the whole
amnesia thing of sleeping for so long.
So, are they trying to say that his wife, meaning Peyton, Dennis Quaid's character is obviously two different people, but the lieutenant, his wife is one of those aliens? Is that what they were trying to say? Or that she got eaten?
Or one of the two. They never really clarify.
They just say
because when they find the place where all the crew wives, they're all empty. So they don't really. He says, "Oh, they're all dead. It doesn't matter. They're all dead." but he doesn't. They don't really clarify. Like, are they one of the creatures? Are they somebody that he let out earlier that
Mhm.
eventually bred the creatures, or did they get eaten? But they were so close to where the aliens were sleeping, they probably were eaten. But we don't know. They
Probably.
never really clarify. But it doesn't, in my opinion, because again, the pods are empty. The ship's been out for 900 years. If they were awakened in the beginning, yeah, they're 900
dead
years
now.
old. They're dead. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that was still cool that they find that and he
Yeah.
sees that they're all empty, and that's how he remembered, because I guarantee you he saw the name and saw the first initial, because he didn't. They never mentioned her first name, not even
No.
his girl's first name. When he saw the M, he says her name, and then he remembers. He's like, "Oh, I remember her," and then he remembers who Peyton really is, because he's like, "Wait, that's not my." He's like, "Yeah, it's not my lieutenant," because then he
Yeah.
remembers everything right then and there from remembering her name, and probably remembering
Mhm.
her as a person. Like, they
Mhm.
probably knew. If you're on the same flight team, I guarantee you they all knew each other personally
Right.
before they all went to sleep or onto that ship. Like, they had to have known each other on a personal level at some point. Like, hey, yeah, we're all gonna travel together, like, and
True.
live on another planet. So
It's crazy.
yeah, a good fucking movie,
Yeah,
huh?
it was great.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, we were just fucking around on Hulu just now, and there was a movie.
What's it?
Oh, the Jeepers Creepers one.
No, what was the one after that one?
Oh fuck. There was no exit. I wanted to see that.
Oh, Would You Rather?
Oh, Would You Rather?
Yeah,
Yes, I
that's what it
like that
was.
movie.
That's what it was.
I want to watch a comedy. We've done a lot of episodes because
I know.
you've been watching.
This is what, the 5th?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I haven't posted ones I still record in Montana still.
I know.
At the
We got
recording of this.
editing to do.
I know. I could just post the other one for next week or something. I don't know. I do need to post those and then post these. But we've been watching a lot of horror. I kind of want to watch something funny.
Maybe we should.
That'd be funny as fuck.
What do you want to watch?
I don't know. I kind of great. We were talking while we were watching Pandorum. We were talking about Jim Carrey a lot,
You
and that's
did.
what put me in the mood to watch
We had
something funny.
a good like 30-minute.
We had to pause the movie.
Giggle.
We were laughing so fucking hard, quoting Ace Ventura and shit.
That was good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't really have anything else to add. I love this movie.
Nope. That was one of the better ones. It was retribution to the bones and all.
And Layer.
And Layer.
We
haven't even finished Layer. I have to watch it again.
Yeah, at the recording of this, we haven't recorded the second half because we both fell asleep at different parts of the movie.
That's how good the movie is.
Yeah. Oh, God. Fuck. Well, I'm done.
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, have fun and fuck. We'll have another episode with Kelsey
Eventually.
here. Dude, Kelsey's gonna be probably the one that we would do a lot of horror with because we're always watching movies together.
Yeah. Sorry about it.
I'll try to get some third people here. I'll call Denise or something.
Yeah.
'Cause she loves horror, man.
You guys were already talking about that other movie to watch anyway.
Oh, Santa Sangre.
Yeah.
Santa Sangre. Yeah. Yeah. A good movie.
Just a reminder.
I will. If anything, me, you, and her could do it. Do that movie. I know her and I, because we went to high school together, and we used to always fucking sit and watch horror movies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good movies that like either I own or she owns, or like we used to like always just come here and watch them. All my friends from high school.
Start writing some of these fucking down.
Yeah,
So I can remember.
I need to put them in my. I'm gonna start a thing on my notes.
Yeah.
So that I can remember, because like, what's it? We just said it.
Would you rather?
Would you rather? And then I want to do Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
I wanted that new one, Reborn or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then No Exit looks good. I still want to do Parents. I don't know if I want to do an episode on that movie. I don't know.
Parents is the one with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, the parents want to kill the kids.
That's right.
Maybe I'll put it up on a poll on our Instagram after we do a couple. And be like, do you guys want us to do an episode on this? Because if not, I'll just watch it. Like, I think
it's mostly suspense, right? It's not horror.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too. When I announced, I mean, this is more sci-fi.
That's true.
When I announced this podcast, I said it was gonna be sci-fi, horror, thrillers, and all I end up doing was horror. But this is more sci-fi.
We need to find more sci-fi then.
More sci-fi. Yeah, that's what we need to fix it. That's all I do is horror.
we have to Google some sci-fi movies then.
I mean, there's some thrillers, I guess. Like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I mean, nobody's complained yet that we only do horror.
Fuck you if you complain.
All right, guys. Well, you have fun. We're going to take off and watch something else. Hopefully, something a little different. But we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right. Peace.